This video is to give you an idea of what a face-to-face presentation can look like. Want you to be forewarned that this is a long video. Most of the training videos are 5 minutes or less. This one is substantially longer. Before I would get into a presentation with a couple, I would always make sure that the spouse that I had not spoken with previously is on the same page. And I would do that by simply asking, has the husband or wife who I haven't spoken with been to the website? Have they watched the video? Have they listened to the toll-free recording? Have they seen the flyer? And if the answer is no, then I would go ahead and go to the home page, play the video, click on the Better Business Bureau rating on the Heritage Living Trust website, and show them the A+ rating, 0 complaints. And then I would do the upfront contract again. You know, the reason we're meeting today is to go through the presentation, and at the end, if you both like what you see, I'll collect a check or credit card payable to Heritage for $1,895, get an application completed, and start helping you get your trust created by Heritage. How does that sound? And if I don't hear that sounds great, that sounds fair, then I'm not going to proceed. If I have an objection, I want to hear it now before I get into it. And if there's questions I cannot answer or objections I can't overcome, then I'm going to postpone the meeting. I'm going to simply say, you know what, it makes better sense that you get your questions answered before we proceed, because it makes no sense at this time. Do you agree? Yes, we do. Okay, I just tell them this is what we're going to do. And so if it's okay with you, I'm going to go ahead and take your name and number, and I'm going to have Heritage call you. And then we'll go ahead and reset this appointment if it makes sense. Does that sound fair? Yes, it does. Because I don't want to pressure anybody. I don't want you to pressure anybody. And it's also a waste of time if they're not ready to move forward, or at least agree to move forward. You might hear, hey, I'm not going to make a decision until I see everything. Of course. I just want to make sure we're on the same page about moving forward. Yeah, that's fine. Then I'll move forward. So I'll go through the presentation, the Heritage Advantage, how long they've been doing business, A+ rated, comprehensive trust, free lifetime changes, free lifetime support. And I would kind of pause and say, now, if you went to a local attorney and you had your trust prepared there or anywhere else, would they charge you for changes? Of course they would. How do attorneys get paid? By the hour, right? All you pay to Heritage is $1,895. I would ask them, do you have more than 2 properties? Yes, we do. We have 3. Well, then it's going to be $25 additional for Heritage to prepare a third deed for you. Okay? You are responsible in having your trust executed, so you have to pay a notary for that. And you got to pay your county recorder to have those deeds recorded. However, the $1,895 plus the $25 for your third deed is all you're ever going to pay Heritage. Just want to be upfront about that. Okay, we understand. Great. The Heritage comes in a beautiful binder. Second power, you got a second copy of the power of attorneys just in case of emergency. You get a companion book along with your trust. Funding is simply changing the name of the asset into the name of the trust so it avoids probate. You get an asset organizer, which I brought with us today. I'll leave it behind and follow up with you in a few days, or you just mail it into Heritage, whatever you, the agent, prefer to do. Collects all the information so Heritage can go ahead and prepare the information to help you avoid probate. This is what's in your trust. First is going to be a summary of the trust. Then is going to be an abstract, which is a short version of your actual trust. What's nice about a trust is that it's private. Nobody needs to know your business. So you never have to provide your full trust to anybody. It's just the abstract, so you can get, let's say you went to the bank, you want to change your money market account into the name of your trust. You just bring a copy of your abstract to verify that you have a trust, and they'll go ahead and create the account in that name. Then we have the legalese of the trust. That's where so that it becomes a legal document. The fourth document is a schedule of your trusts, where you list down your assets, your homes, the addresses, just so you have an inventory of what you need to fund into your trust. And so when the time comes and you both pass, your successor trustee will know each property, etc., and make sure those are transferred into the name of the person that's inheriting the trust the property without having to go through probate. Then let's say you have, your paintings, your jewelry, your watches, etc. Who gets what? If you've ever been around a family that had any kind of assets and they pass, there's a money grab. People get very weird about when people die. This keeps your families from, fragmenting themselves, keeps your families whole, because you've gone through the inventory of your estate, and this is who gets what. So it keeps the family squabbles down to 0. Sample amendments, talked about the amendments before. This gives you an idea of what the amendments look like. Power of attorney for assets. So you're hospitalized and your spouse has already passed. This person or persons who you named will make the decisions to go ahead and pay the bills. They'll have the power to pay your bills. The next is a pour of a will. Let's say you forgot to put an asset into your trust and it needs to be probated. Unfortunately, it will be probated. That's why it's very important to disclose everything in the asset organizer and keep in contact with Heritage so they can keep your trust current. And however, if you did not fund the asset, had it in the name of the trust, and it will go through probate, but it will be distributed per the wishes of your trust. Okay, that's very important. Next is the declaration of health care, the living will, a health care directive called many different things. So if you are hospitalized and you're on need to be put on life support, you already have made that decision today when you're mentally competent and able to do that instead of leaving that to a loved one. That is a beautiful thing. Next is the durable power of attorney for health care. Your spouse has passed, you're in the hospital, you've made your declarations, you're on life support, and the doctor comes and says, we have a procedure we want to try. Who can make that decision? It's this person or persons that you've designated. If you have or haven't made any arrangements for your burial or for cremation, we recommend you write them in this section so that you people, the ones you leave behind, won't have to guess and fight over what kind of ceremony you want. If you're going to leave your body to science, if you're giving different parts of your bodies to different organizations, write in here along with who that organization is so there's no doubt. And how to settle the trust. Once you both have passed, if you're a husband and wife and you both have passed, this will tell your successor trustee how to settle your estate. Your successor trustee can also call Heritage Living Trust, and Heritage will walk them through the steps. It's a very simple process, and there is no attorney involvement and no court involvement. When people pass, it's difficult for a lot of times for their heirs and their loved ones to know exactly what they have. That's why in the back of your trust you have an essential documents locator. You're going to list all your insurance policies, where your documents are kept, organizations you belong to, your complete inventory of your estate, so that you will be guaranteed you can have peace of mind knowing that everything you worked so hard to accumulate in your lifetime will be passed to the people that you want them to go to in a timely manner, and everybody will get everything. Okay? The last instructions is a love letter to your family. Life is not fair. People will have 5 children and they'll ask, should I leave each of my child 20% of my estate? Not necessarily. Some children are very successful financially. They don't need the help. Some need your help drastically. And this is where you might write a love letter to them saying, we left our estate this way for the particular reasons. And this way people don't feel sad or neglected. If you have minor children, and this is very important, if something would happen and say both you and your spouse died in a car accident, you'd have peace of mind knowing that the people that you have chosen to raise your children in the manner which you want them to be raised is taken care of because you've named these people. As a parent, that was the number one button for me to get my trust. Conservator is if later on in life or if something happens and you're incapacitated, you need to be put into a care facility. If you have Alzheimer's, this person or persons will determine after your spouse has passed what kind of facility you will be put into and have access to your estate to pay for those. If you have a married couple that had previous marriage and they have children, separate property agreements, the AB Trust will ensure that they're not disinherited. Summary of you've been through one of the most comprehensive trusts ever and the call to action. So at the end of the presentation, I'd simply say, well, what do you think? Most times you say, it looks great. Okay, then I just pull out the application and start asking them questions and assume the sale, and most times that would be the end of it. It's a simple presentation. Again, you have this option, or if you prefer or your clients prefer, Heritage can take the application over the phone for them and the payment.